This is about, I won't even say the evolution, the maturation of humanity. We are living as children, being told what to do by mummy or daddy government. You have the mummy government that will come and take care of you and wipe your nose and feed you and make sure you're okay, and daddy government who will deliver punishment and justice.
And keep you safe.
And keep you safe, of course, from the bad men. But if we do not grow out of that childhood, youthful innocence into maturation, taking responsibility for ourselves, then we are actually moving to this stage at which it is becoming technologically feasible to really genetically, at this point, genetically engineer a subspecies.
2030 to 2035, Rebrain. The colossal project of brain reverse engineering is implemented. World science comes very close to understanding the principles of consciousness. 2035, the first successful attempt to transfer one's personality to an alternative carrier. The epoch of cybernetic immortality begins. 2040 to 2050. Bodies made of nanorobots that can take any shape arise alongside hologram bodies. 2045 to 2050. Drastic changes in social structure and in scientific and technological development. All the prerequisites for space expansion are established. For the man of the future, war and violence are unacceptable. The main priority of his development is spiritual self-improvement. A new era dawns. The era of neo-humanity.
Very, very worrying stuff indeed, especially worrying that so many people will embrace this without thinking at all about who is directing this transformation of humanity itself and to what end.
Humanity is at the point where we are facing a bifurcation, and is going to be sold and packaged as transhumanism and other great things. You don't want the brain chip? It will be great for everyone, as all such things always are. But literally, the technologies that exist today are going to be the types of technologies that would have been literally unimaginable to any dictator in society, but perfectly capable of making humanity into a subservient species that will be more prone to being able to be controlled. The types of experiments that were being done 50 years ago to literally control wild animals like bulls with devices implanted in their brain that could stop them dead in their tracks with a single click of a button.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
I mean, these types of technologies have been worked on for a very long time at this point, and always, of course, under the cover of secrecy, never revealed to the public until decades after they've taken place. So one can imagine that the technology that actually exists now is going to be light years ahead of what we've seen.
What kind of people want to do that kind of stuff to other human beings?
Sadistic people, of course, sociopaths of various kinds. There is a lot of academic debate about psychopathy, sociopathy, how to delineate and categorize these different types. But one rubric that has been developed is that psychopaths are very small, maybe 1 or 2% of the population. People who literally have their brains wired differently cannot experience the types of emotions, sympathy, etc., that we naturally feel as human beings. And the worst part is that in their image, they can create sociopaths who are not born with that same biochemical brain chemistry as the psychopaths, but will emulate the psychopathic nature in a system that's been designed essentially to be psychopathic. And we see examples of that. Some of the people who have talked about this include the famed Stanford psychologist, Philip Lombardo, who did the original Stanford prison experiment. But he has talked about what he calls the Lucifer effect, which is how to essentially engineer people into acting as if they are psychopaths, even if they aren't necessarily. And he points to the example of Abu Ghraib in Iraq, the detention center, where, of course, despicable, inhuman treatment of prisoners took place by ordinary guards who were coming from Idaho and Nebraska and whatever else. Did these average sort of people from the Midwest end up in Iraq and suddenly, yes, these sadistic killers finally had a playground to work in? Or was the environment molding them into that? And if that is possible, if you can take people who would not necessarily normally manifest those behaviors in an average environment and make them into that in a specialized environment, well, what about the environment we're being placed into in a society generally? That's the type of social engineering that happens when you are psychopathic and when you want to engineer a society in a certain way. Am I pessimistic or optimistic about where we go from here?
That's right.
And that is an exceptionally good question. I think I'm particularly motivated because I would say throughout history, there have been times of dark ages and enlightenments, broadly defined. Times where people are oppressed under a boot with an iron fist. But then there's a counteraction and there's some sort of war. The war of good versus evil, however it's portrayed in a lot of literature. And that is, perhaps that is the way that human society is supposed to function, that there will always be a struggle and something like that. But, as I say, the technology for the complete crackdown, I would say as long as the human spirit exists, there will always be hope. But how long will the human spirit exist if we genetically alter the species itself, if we're controlling people through smart technologies that they don't understand, artificial intelligence? These types of things can truly change the narrative of human history. And it is coming into view in the next generation or two. That's what I'm concerned about, which is why we do not have forever to really have this conversation. It is going to be decided in the next couple of generations. And that's why I'm concerned.